What's up, folks? I'm Matt here with FoxHaven Roofing in South Florida, looking to explain how much your roof should cost, or maybe why your roof prices vary so much. There's a ton of different things to go into your roof price that should be considered. We can start with the obvious, which is your roof systems, right? So there's shingle roofs. Everybody knows what a shingle roof is, but most people don't realize that there's tiers of shingles, qualities of shingles. There's your base, which is a 3-tab shingle. Which I wouldn't recommend to anybody here in the state of Florida. They're just not made for windy seasons. I've said in previous videos, you might get 10 or 12 years out of those. And there's architectural shingles, that's one step above that. And then there's even premium shingles, one step above those. So not all shingle roofs are created, the same. But even still, in just talking about systems before getting into all of that, you have shingle roofs, metal roofs, tile roofs, cedar shake roofs, all these different types of roofing all come at a different price point, right? The price point changes all come into basically how expensive the actual material you're putting on your roof is, how long it's going to last you on your roof. All of these things are very, to what I would consider obvious factors that go into the differences in what you're paying for a roof. But we can go even one step further than that, right? And this is what I was saying with regards to the shingles. There's varying qualities of shingles that you could put on your roof if that was the roofing system that you land on. Same thing goes for metal roofs. We have our mill finish metal roof. We have our upgraded, this is a coated Kynar metal roof. One step above that, you have an aluminum roof. So where you live might factor into how much your roof costs, because if you're a half a mile from salty water, you need to go to an aluminum roof. If you're more than a half mile away from salty water, we can put a Galvalume or a Kynar coated colored roof on your house, no problem. But all of those things come at a different price point. Mill finish is going to be the most cost effective. Aluminum is going to be your most expensive from a standing seam metal perspective. But with that price comes different things. The aluminum roof, if you're that close to the salt water, it's going to extend the life of your roof, because the salt's not eating away at the metal that's on your roof, so it's almost a required upgrade for you. The same thing applies for our underlayments. Before we put our shingles on our roof, we have to put an underlayment down. There's varying thicknesses and even warranty terms for all these different underlayments. We have a synthetic underlayment, which is a very thin, you could almost rip it with your hands. And then you can step up to a peel and stick underlayment. Not all peel and stick underlayments are the same either. There are some that, like I said, you could just pull them apart with your hands. You want a little bit of a tougher roofing material, it's going to cost you a little bit more. The materials on the jobs themselves, they do vary in cost, pretty significantly. Again, there's things like adding attic ventilation. We could do no attic ventilation at all. Your upfront cost is going to be lower. We could put a ridge vent across the ridge of the house, letting the air out the top naturally, adding a little more to the cost of the job. We could put a solar powered or hardwired attic fan on the roof to ventilate the attic, adding more to the cost of the job. Maybe you have 2 penetrations on your roof, maybe you have 12 penetrations on the roof. This changes the cost of the job. All those things from a material standpoint, obviously, again, should make sense in where the cost of your roof is actually coming from. The next thing I want to talk about is the actual job itself. How difficult is the job? If your roof is super steep, our guys get paid additional labor. Walking around on a steep roof on a hot day with all that heavy roofing material on your back is worth a little more money to the guys for sure. If you have a 2-story roof, and every time the guys have to take a rotted sheet of plywood on or off the roof, they have to go up a 2-story ladder, there's an additional labor cost attached to that as well. Maybe it's one of these jobs where you have a fence off the back of your house and a rear garage, and the guys have to take all the material from the rear garage down to the ground, walk it around to the front of the house, and throw it in the dumpster. We're adding again to the cost of the job. All of these things lend for what we're actually getting done. If we are going to do a shingle roof and add an attic fan, it's a very simple installation. We're going to nail it down, we'll put the roofing material around it, and it's done. If we're doing a standing seam metal roof, we have to curb mount the attic fan, order additional flashings, so there's additional labor in that, so that adds cost to the job. So when we're talking about the price of the job, it's not black and white. If you call more than one contractor to your house, you're more than likely not going to see the exact same number down to the zeros. And when I say more than likely, there's probably a mathematical likelihood of 0 that will ever happen. And that also comes down to the contractors themselves. You could have a guy who sells out of his truck, doesn't have any office space, just runs around pumping his cards out. He gets a call for a roof, he goes and meets the people, and he sends a crew there. That's it. One and done. He never visits the job again. It's very easy for him to operate at a low cost. You could have a roofing company who's been in business for 35 years and it's a mom and pop shop and they don't have much interest in growth, but they just kind of stay at their market. That you could expect, you know, a middle of the pack price point. You could have a roofing shop that when you walk into the office, there's support staff, there's a repair division, there is, you know, there's all these different things that can be going on inside of the office, but with them comes additional expenses, and they might be a little bit higher priced. Like, let's say the guy in the truck who just shows up, sells you the roof, and rolls out of there, maybe he's not actually registering your roof warranties. Maybe if you have a leak, he doesn't have a repair team who can come back out and take care of your issues. So there is that side of it as well. As a homeowner, you have to take the time and kind of evaluate what's most important to you. I know for myself, I think a warranty is about as important as anything else could be from any product standpoint. If I'm going to buy something brand new and, you know, pay my hard-earned money for it, I want to know that if in 6 months I have an issue for it, it's not my responsibility yet. In 6 months, there should be no issues with a roof. Truthfully, in about 10 years, there should be no issues on your roof for the most part if you're replacing it. So, you know, you could go with that guy who shows up with his crews in his truck, but if his warranty's like 3 years on his stuff, and he's, you know, he's out the door as soon as he's done anyhow, and you have problems with your roof in 5 years, you're kind of screwed because you saved a little bit of money on the upfront cost of it. But, you know, that's here nor there. Those decisions are there for you to make. And the other thing that could end up affecting the price of the job is the upgrades. So are we adding, you know, ventilation? Are we building crickets? Are we, you know, are we going from a mill finish roof to a color roof? Are we wrapping the fascia? Are we putting in new soffits? All of these things go into the roof cost. Maybe we're not considering them up front, but once they get presented to you, it's easier to deal with all of these things at one time. So it may be worth looking into doing all of those things separate. You can kind of pick and choose which of these things you're most willing to pay for, or which are most important to you, right? So maybe you don't mind that the guy shows up in a truck and he just grabs a crew to do your roof, but you really want to know that you're putting the best possible underlayment and the best possible roof system down, and you want to have your attic ventilation on there. Okay, you're saving on the quality of contractor, but you're going belt and suspenders on all your materials. Maybe that's what's for you. Maybe it's the other way around. You get the guy with the best reputation, you know he's going to honor the warranty the whole time, and maybe we just stay middle of the pack with what we're going to put up there. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, if he tells you he has a 10-year workmanship warranty, he's got a great reputation, and the guys and the office support and all of the things to support those claims, maybe that's your guy. I'm not here to tell you what's best. I'm just trying to make it as clear as possible what the difference actually is between one job to the other. Roofing is major construction on your home, especially re-roofing. The demolition is like pretty severe. We make a lot of noise. People don't love it. So you want to know that all these things that you're paying for are what are actually important to you. The price that you pay for the roof is not necessarily what that roof's going to cost you over its lifetime, and you know, you should keep that in mind when going to select a contractor. There's a lot of different ways to get a roof done. Hopefully some of those speaking points help to make it a little clearer for you. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully we see you again soon and we can keep talking about these roofing systems with you.